But Sarabjit Kaur Nangra as well is on the line with us. Sarabjit, just the first numbers, do they match up with your expectations or have they beaten as they have in the case of the ET Now estimates?
No, these numbers are definitely way ahead of our expectations. We were expecting a dip happening. I think they have, in fact, given I think my rough calculation says they have given a Q-on-Q roughly around 0.8 to 1% kind of a growth. And obviously, the surprise is on the sales front, but margins are, I think, in the line with expectation. So the main surprise, the positive uptick has come on the sales front. So I guess either they will increase the guidance or probably that's the only way out. And I guess it's positive number in the Q3 for us.
Okay, Deepak Shenoy, I want you to jump in right now with your first reaction. What we have right now essentially are the data points for the quarter gone by, and prima facie it looks like it's a beat from Infosys. Okay.
We'll get to
2407.
Yeah, is the dollar revenue.
2407. So, Dipen, jump in. You mentioned anything about 2400 will be positive.
Thrilling.
Thrilling.
Absolutely.
Would you?
Story intact. Vishal is now stepping into maybe third, fourth gear. And so, again, old hat. Infi under Vishal is a little bit like India under Modi. Maintain faith and it'll pay off sooner or later.
Is it
wow,
better?
That's
wow,
a huge
tall.
compliment.
But my thing
That's
is
a promo
line. Is it better than TCS under Chandra? That's the point. Because now the stocks are trading at parity on FY17
so I don't want to sound critical on Chandra right
now. Not at all. I'm just saying as a stock.
For this quarter, yes. Here on, most certainly.
Between the two, what would you prefer as a stock?
Absolutely, Infosys.
Okay. That's my limited point.
And why is that?
So the reason is that the delta in Infosys, which is available to me today, is much more. Here's a beaten down business who was going through a process of finding itself all over again, was facing high attrition, wouldn't get new orders, was not compromising on pricing, was losing the plot, has now begun to find the plot all over again.
Okay, now 40 rupees up for Infosys. Look at the intraday graph. From the day's low, Infosys has seen a stellar comeback. That is the only good-looking chart today in an otherwise very gloomy market. 83 points off for the Nifty. Look at Infosys, you would say, okay, there's no problem in the market. But yes, there is a lot of problem in the market if I look at the market.
4.5%.
So, Nikunj, what will you say 6 months from now when India will be the only performing emerging market?
We are still the performing market.
This is a fundamentally good story under a fundamentally good leadership. Doing fundamentally good things and reinventing itself is going to pay off.
We've still managed to break out of the pack. If I look at what happened to Brazil and Russia last year, relatively we've broken out of the pack.
Guys, let's stick to it. Let's stick to Infosys right now. If I may just come in, we'll have this debate a bit later. It's 4.5% up. Let's get in some more ideas. But just before I get into a fundamental idea, I just wonder if there is a trade here. Okay, let's first get in Abhishek Shindatkar's view. Abhishek, your first verdict, and it's already 4.5% up. What would you be telling your clients to do right now?
Good morning. So the first view is that it's a stellar beat to have a 3.1% kind of a volume growth in a seasonally soft quarter. I think that's a good enough kind of a quarter, and I think you're seeing that in the price as well. So I think margins were generally in line. So the consensus numbers were more or less that the dollar growth could be flat. We were anticipating a 0.5% decline. Recall, Infi had a one-off $23 million contribution in the previous quarter. And that was primarily the reason we were anticipating a decline. Excluding that, the growth could have been 0.5%. So I think it looks like a good beat on the top line.
Which will make you very happy, they've increased their FY16 rupee and revenue guidance. When I say FY16 for this quarter, which means Infosys is seeing better visibility in the short term. And frankly, we don't want to look at long term right now. Medium term, yes, debatable, but short term is where they see visibility. Short term, there were concerns about short term. Short term is where they are confident.
The rupee revenue guidance also has been upped, and I think the constant currency guidance also has been up 12.8% to 13.2%.
Dollar revenue expected to grow at 8.9 to 9.3.
Yeah.
Depend, come in on these things.
So constant currency, they were guiding for 10 to 12, am I right?
10 to 12.
10 to 12%.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is FY16. Remember, we finished 3 quarters already. They were running at, I think, 14%
Which means
constant
they see
currency
lot
at the
of
end of
business,
the second quarter.
lot
So
of
a lot
good
of
work.
business. He's seeing a fat pipe, Nikunj. He's seeing a fat pipe.
Yeah, yeah.
And driven by which economy? The economy which you suspect is going nowhere, the United States.
United States.
Excuse me.
I'll tell you a trick point.
volumes
I'll
are
tell
up
you a
over
trick point.
3%
And
as
that
well,
trick point is that this is a leap year. Now, what happens because of a leap year? You
One
get one
day.
more extra working day. No, but you think about it. One day, on a base of
So that's
60 working
1% in a
days.
quarter, my friend.
That is that additional 1%.
And on a base of quarter 3, which hasn't been the best. I mean, they've
Exactly.
beaten estimates, but they've hardly, I mean, consider it. They've not really grown by leaps
But
and
you
bounds.
could get a holiday on a Saturday. So Good Friday is
It's a
not going to
Monday.
come on a
It's a
Saturday, I know
Monday.
that. So
No, I mean, that's just joke apart. But,
And we will be working on that leap year day because it'll be budget.
but these are good numbers.
Yeah,
These
these
are
are
good
very good
numbers. There is a volume growth of 3%, which is what you want to see. Blended pricing are down by 2.5%. So I think that's okay. I mean, I don't think they're getting pricing power, but growth is coming back. Volume growth is coming back.
Yes.
But if you've gone and increased your guidance for FY16, which is this quarter, that just tells you that there is visibility of order book and he sees a fat pipe.
Sarabjit, you've been waiting by as well. Any other thoughts? So 2 or 3 things. They've upped the guidance. The results are good. In all probability, they have a fantastic Q4. What would you be telling your clients?
See, we have been actually buyer in IT for a pretty long time, and the prime reason is that IT as a pack has been battered down because FY16 has been guided to be a slower one in comparison to a couple of years. But I don't see that as a risk because I think the base is actually too huge for them to actually, even if they're growing at 16% at this huge base, I think it's a commendable job. So I guess we are positive and we are positive in Infosys. So definitely our target price will increase by, I think, around 5% and probably I think it will still be a buy. We still see huge upsides in IT. Actually, I think anybody who's seriously looking at a wealth creation should not ignore IT. Actually.
Not ignore IT. That's Sarabjit Kaur Nangra's call. Deepak Shenoy, my question is, are you as bullish about IT at large? And of course, would you be buying Infosys in your client accounts or your personal accounts right now?
It's a good question. We were more focused on TCS and perhaps some of the other players like Tech Mahindra. But looks like after this result, Infy seems to, or rather after their guidance, Infy seems to be more confident of where they're going. So there might be a shift in allocation perhaps to IT. But I believe, fundamentally that, the guidance is good. I'd like to see them perform. I think the result is okay. It's not phenomenal. It just beats the guidance by a little bit, but didn't beat my expectations in those numbers. But I believe, from a relative perspective, Infy does look stronger now. And I think allocations in IT should include Infosys. I wasn't earlier very confident about having them on board.
And what a confident commentary coming in from Dr. Vishal Sikka, the CEO and MD at Infosys. He's saying we are starting to see creative confidence blossoming within Infosys. David Kelly's beautiful idea that innovation is not specific to one department, but is an ability within all of us waiting to unleash the full creative potential. He's saying that we are seeing Infosians become innovators, bringing innovation and client value to each individual project. And he's saying that this confidence can only come from a culture of learning, empowerment, and this is the kind of company we are endeavoring to create. He's saying alongside grassroots innovation, we continue to see growing adoption of our Aikido services, bringing the power of intelligent systems, automation and software to amplify the skills and imagination of our people. This combination helped us deliver encouraging results despite the traditional seasonality of the quarter and the additional headwinds, and will strengthen the execution of the strategy towards consistent profitable growth. I also want to hear out, or rather read out what MD Ranganath, the CFO, is saying. He's saying that we have been able to navigate the quarter better than our earlier expectations. He's saying we will continue to focus on enhancing operational efficiency through multiple levers in the coming quarter. Abhishek, what a fantastically confident management commentary there.
Absolutely. And if you, the commenting on the earlier point about the guidance, probably what we thought that Infi was a little conservative post Q2 to not up the guidance, because if you look at the numbers, they had a stellar H1, I mean, and, we were a little disappointed that they didn't raise it that point of time, but good, never late. They've come up and raised the guidance. Overall, it seems from the press release, as you mentioned, the commentary looks, very positive.
Right. Okay. Trip Chaudhary, Managing Director, Equity Research, Global Equities, joins us right now on the show as well.